This is your safe space to get honest, get elevated, and get into your next level era. Here we talk money, mindset, love, and becoming her. Because leveling up is a lifestyle. Elevate your mind and upgrade your life. This is Glow Up with Niecey, where main character energy meets real life growth. Welcome to Glow Up with Niecey. I'm your host, Niecey, and the affirmation for today is, I am allowed to reinvent myself as many times I need. Have you ever sat down and thought about you want to do a whole transformation? You want to evolve yourself. You want to move differently, think differently. Hell, move to another state, move to another country, change careers, change your taste in men and friends, everything overall, because that's something that I do dream about a lot. I dream about just changing my whole identity, and that's something that I discussed previously about having identity crisis or feeling like I'm looked at as a fraud, because when I was younger, I used to act a certain way, be perceived in a certain way. But as I got older and I started to change, I started to find what works with me, what doesn't work with me. I started to find my vibe, my style. And then sometimes I wonder, like, am I a fraud for thinking like this? Am I a fraud for wanting to evolve myself? Am I a fraud for no longer want to hang out with certain people? Am I a fraud for just moving and acting completely different? And I thought to myself, how did that make me a fraud? There's nothing wrong with reinventing yourself. There's nothing wrong with trying to do different things that you may love, you may not love. There's nothing wrong with looking back at your younger self and saying, wow, you have grown, you have evolved, you have leveled up, blew up, all of the above. There's nothing wrong with that, because I enjoy those younger years when I would be ratchet, when I'll be young, wild, and free, because now as I got older, I did my partying, I did certain styles that were not for me. I learned how to love myself, and I learned how to accept my past, but still find ways to reinvent myself and to move on. And this brings me to this movie. You guys know I love Tiffany and Co. real bad. My favorite color is Tiffany blue. But this movie, I finally saw this movie, and I cannot believe, as somebody that admires Tiffany and Co., it took me this long to see this movie. And it was Breakfast at Tiffany's. I watched that movie the ending of last year, and my mom even got me the DVD so I could rewatch it many times. That entire movie, I resonated with Holly Golightly so much, you guys do not understand. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of backstory. So it's about this young woman. She's very promiscuous in a way, and you could say she lives in her apartment. She always goes on date with these high-end men, and she lives with her cat. And there was a guy that actually moved into the building, and he just locked eyes with her, fell in love with her. But every time he would try to get close to her, she'd kind of draw away from him, and that's kind of what I was perceiving throughout the movie. The movie had a lot of significant details about the type of person Holly Golightly was, and it wasn't even until like when she was with the guy, and then he would take her to breakfast at Tiffany. He would take her to Tiffany's, and he even got her a gift. I forgot what the gift he got her, but he got her a gift and said, this is something that you always think about with me. And then he also found out she had a husband that was like in Texas, and she was trying to run away from him. She wanted to reinvent herself, have a whole new life. And it just signifies that it's okay with what she did. I have nothing wrong with her just get up and leaving. She may should have got a divorce or just more so, but it was the fact that she knew she was destined for more. She knew she wanted more, and she literally put that into effect. And I did little pinpoints, because, you know, your girl got to have her pinpoints. So one thing I noticed is that you outgrow your old environment before you grow into your new self. So when you are starting to level up and elevate yourself, you're going to outgrow certain people. You're going to outgrow certain family members. You're going to outgrow the environment that you are in and want to be destined for more. So with Holly Golightly, she left Texas, completely changed her name, and went to the best city of all time, New York. I'm biased because I'm from New York. But she wanted to just do a whole new transformation. And when you think about it, when you're in the point that you're ready to evolve in yourself, your environment that you're in, you no longer want to be in. You no longer want to be surrounded by certain people. You no longer want to live the life that you live. You want to be destined for more. You want to be more. It also makes me think about how people love, like when they get rich, People love to say, oh my God, he got rich and switch, or he acting funny because now he got money. No, if somebody is elevating themselves, it's to the point that they no longer want to be associated with certain things. And that's okay. Especially if it's negativity and you want to evolve for something much better. I don't see anything wrong with that. It reminds me of the episode of Girlfriends when Tony, when she went back to visit, and she's from a certain area in California, and her sister was like, yeah, I sacrificed so you could be able to have this long lavish life, and look how you are, da. But like with Tony Child, she wanted to get away from that. And it's like, sometimes you want to get away from that old environment because you feel like you are destined for better. You deserve better. Better should come your way. It hurts because there are some people in your past that you're like, damn, you really left them. But it's not like you want to do it purposely. It's like you want to do something for yourself. You want to evolve for yourself. And you cannot hold on to what another person may feel because of the decision you made. Sometimes you have to eat that up. You have to eat that up. It's the same thing with the character with Holly Golightly when she was trying to explain to her husband that this life that she was living, it was not for her. She was unhappy. She wanted to better. She wanted to move better, think better. She just wanted to be in a better environment. And he couldn't understand that because that's something that he liked, he enjoyed, he didn't have any problems with. As opposed to Holly Golightly, she was fed up. I keep saying her full name. As opposed to Holly, like, she was fed up. She wanted just to completely leave. She just wanted to do something completely different with her life. And it goes to show that sometimes your environment literally could be pulling you down from you to elevate and level up. I've seen so many people talk about how they just left and went to a different state, different city, and they felt more at peace. They felt more alive. They didn't feel no longer tied down. They didn't have any negativity. They didn't feel like anything of that. They felt so good. And as much as I could tell you guys, I love New York, I miss New York, there were just certain things in New York that I'm thankful that my mom moved me from New York to Florida just for a different environment and different scenery. I just feel like that type of environment, maybe it was time for me to change. It was something when I was down here and I lived down here and I went to one high school when I first moved down here. I went to one high school and my mom changed, and then because of the district, I had to go to a different high school. It was because of the environment. I had to do a change. I had to switch up. There was this certain things. And that's something that I had to learn, that some of the people that I was with, their environment, some of them were holding me back. It is what it is. Some of the people that I was hanging out with, they were holding me down. They were bringing me down to their level. It is what it is. Some people were jealous of me. And I'm not saying it to be cocky. I'm not saying to be arrogant. Now when I think about certain things that certain people I used to hang with, what they did, they were trying to bring me down to their level or worse, and they were jealous of me, and they knew I was destined for greatness. I don't care what anybody say. A hater could always tell when you are destined for greatness. They always could see it. That's why they always try to belittle you. They always try to bring you down to their level, and they always try their best to make sure that you know that, oh yeah, you forgot where you came from. Like, they know it. And that's why it's very important to change your environment. And sometimes you have to change your environment for you to basically level up and for you to basically get on your grind and be that bad bitch that you are, period. Holly knew what she wanted, but lost in who she was. Identity was not there like most of us. So most of us know what we want with our life. We know, but sometimes when we're reaching that level of going up and leveling up, we are going to lose ourselves. And our question is, or the question I would say is, once you know that you are going to lose yourself, how are you going to try to find yourself again? Because that's what happened to most of us. Most of us completely lose ourselves. I've heard so many stories about so many women that after they have kids, they have completely lost themselves. They bury themselves into their husband, into their children, and they literally have to pick themselves back up.
Since we're talking about stepping into our best selves, let me put you on Phyto glasses, which is FYTOO. They instantly level up your look while you're at work, brunch, or just on Zoom. Plus, you could get 15% off by using my code Nieceys, NIECEYYS. And also, if you want to get some prescription glasses without breaking the bank, definitely hit up Phyto.
When we are changing, we do tend to lose ourselves, but the best way is to figure out how are we going to get back on our grind and how are we going to get back to that girl, to always be that girl and to continue to be that girl. Because one thing I could say, Holly was not playing games. She did lose herself, but she knew what she wanted. And the reason why I said she knew what she wanted, because when she was in Texas, I know that girl was suffering. Because when her current when he came, and she was like, oh, she was pissed to the positivity because homegirl did not want anything to do with him. She was like, oh, this is not for me. But when she got to New York and she was doing her promiscuous work, she knew the type of man that she wanted, that would be able to provide the lifestyle that she wants. And she knew that. But she also lost herself in the process because, remember, she completely left one state that she knew and she was comfortable and grew with her entire life, went to a completely whole other state, trying to do work, still losing herself in the process. She knew what she wanted, but she just didn't know where the hell she was going. And that reminds me of me. So with me, I always felt like I lost myself in the process of trying to find out how am I going to level up and glow up? How am I going to find my style? Because again, like I said in previous podcasts, I was following every other trend. I was trying to do what everybody else was doing, but I wasn't following what I love to do and what type of person I wanted to be in. And I feel like that's something that a lot of us do go through when we are in the process of evolving. But that's how I know we're always going to be destined for greatness, is because once we are in that process of being lost and not knowing the direction we want to go in, it's a fun but scary process, because it's fun because you know that you're going to find yourself, the end goal is going to be so much worth it. But it's also kind of scary because you're saying to yourself, you're following so many different trends, you're going up and down. You found this style, you didn't like it, you're doing this, you didn't like it. So it's a whole bunch of just hands in the cookie jar just mixing around, squibbling around, and you're like, what the hell is going on? You don't know what you're doing. That's pretty much how it's perceived. That's pretty much how it is in that entire process. The best advice that I can give anybody that helped me when I felt completely lost when I was evolving myself is I still stay true to myself. I stay true to myself of who I was and just try to be better. And listen, I'm a girl. I'm from New York. I have Jamaican background. I love to party. I love to just vibe. But there's certain things I'm no longer going to do. Like, I'm no longer going to the club, or if I go out, I'm no longer going to have more than one drink. It's just this. I'm just going to chill. When I go out, I'm no longer going to engage. It's like, I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to do that. Or in terms of when it comes to my style, there's certain things that I know I want to do. So I'm going to dress a certain way because I want to be perceived a certain way. I'm not going to wear certain clothes. I'm going to wear certain things. I'm going to try to do my hair in certain ways. I'm going to try to think differently. I'm going to move accordingly. I'm going to try to improve myself, but I'm still not going to lose myself. You get it? Improve yourself but not lose yourself. Just the little steps here and there. Like, if you know you love to go out to the party, you always just get pissy drunk, smoke a lot, X, Y, and Z. I bet you go back to a party, you have one drink, you're going to be good for the whole night. Because you improve yourself to know yourself. You know what? I'm not going back to it. I lost myself in that process. I'll try to be suffering and go through some things, but I'm not going to do that no longer. Because you are elevating yourself. You are growing up. You are glowing up. You are leveling yourself up. And you guys probably may not be understanding the reference of what I'm saying, but consider yourself of things you used to do back then compared to yourself now as an adult. And you'll see how much times you have really changed over the years. And if you have not changed that significantly, well, then that's something for you to take up and you to think back. That's not me. I'm no judgment zone here. It's just something that I'm saying. That's what I mean by you lose yourself. Because especially when you're younger and you're going to try to fit into every other crowd. You're going to try to make so many different friends. And you're going to resonate with who resonate with you. And that's how sometimes what it goes back to, sometimes we have to leave our environment for us to really to elevate to get to the point that we are. Because we could, especially when somebody sees, like, again, if a hater sees that you lost yourself in the process and they see that they could find any type of way to bring you down to their level or lower, they're going to do it. They are absolutely going to do it. A hater knows when you're insecure. A hater knows when you're going through some things. And a hater knows when they could try to bring you down to their level. And that's exactly what they're going to do. That's why I always say, be very mindful of the people that you keep. Because it could definitely be friends. It could definitely be family. And when a hater see that you lost yourself, that's when a hater's going to dive right in, swoop right in, and watch you in your downfall. All when you're trying to elevate and level up yourself. All in that entire process. Because again, like I said previously, a hater knows when you're destined for greatness. And one thing a hater is going to do is going to stop you or try to stop you in that process. Now, if you watched the movie, in the beginning when I talked about a quick little backstory, I probably missed out on many details, but a quick little backstory on Breakfast at Tiffany was the entire symbolism with the cat. So it was crazy because towards the ending of the movie, she was riding the car with the guy, the one that I told you guys that he was new to the building. And he lived, I believe, upstairs or across from her. She was driving a taxi cab with him. and she had her cat. And she was just saying to herself that, oh my God, I'm so, like, she was just basically done. It was this whole speech that she was doing. And she just threw the cat out the door. Like, she just threw the cat away. And when she stopped, she realized, she's like, wait, where's my cat? Like, that's when she fully acknowledged, after she lost herself, that the cat symbolized something, that she was always here. That's when she learned the ability to choose stability, to choose love, and to choose to belong. So with choosing stability, remember, she just got up and left the type of environment that she was in Texas. She moved to New York. She was living a promiscuous lifestyle. She knew she was destined for greatness. She knew she wanted greatness. And here comes this guy that's trying to give her the world. And she's just looking at him like, what? Like, no. And the whole time, she would start to fall in love with this guy, because there was different things that he was doing for her, saying things to her that she was really starting to like. But she just could not choose stability. She could not choose that love. She didn't even know where she belonged. She didn't even give the cat a name. The cat was just called Cat. If I'm remembering the entire movie, the cat was just called Cat. And I think that's what symbolized how she felt when she left Texas and she just moved to New York. She felt like she didn't have herself. She felt like she was just still missing something about her. And that's the entire thing of the cat. When in the ending, when she finally got, like, the taxi cab was looking for the cat. She was just looking for the cat. She couldn't believe it. She was like, oh my gosh. That's when she really had that acknowledgement. This is where she belongs. This is who she belongs with. And she deserves love. And she deserves to be happy in that sense. This brings me to the last topic. When we are growing up, healing is choosing a new version of yourself on purpose. When you are growing up, learn how to heal yourself from all the past trauma, the past things that you have dealt with, and learn how to evolve. And I feel like that's something that Holly was really struggling with in that process of learning how to heal from her past. Because remember, I think I missed out this detail when she found out that her brother died in the army in war, and she left her husband from Texas. She just got up and left to a whole new environment. She was still trying to learn herself. She was being promiscuous, talking to many different other rich men that had their wives. But it was just a whole lot of things. Like, she was just meeting so many different people. But I just feel like she hasn't met her right person. And when this guy comes along, he shows her that she could still be herself and he will still love her for that. But she just has to open up to him. And that's another thing that she was scared of doing. You can literally tell she was scared of opening up to him, showing him the type of person that she is. And when you're leveling up, you have to choose yourself. You have to always choose yourself in a process. A lot of people are going to come into your life and they're going to try to tell you about what you used to do back in the days, what you did. And sometimes you're going to sit there and like, oh, hey. But you have to keep it in the back of your head saying that you see me evolve into the type of person that I am. Why would you bring up bad things? I'm going to tell you a scenario that's completely different. If I had a friend I used to go out and party with 24/7 and I see that she is now happily in a relationship or so forth, I'm going to say, girl, I'm so happy, because I remember like when I'm so happy with how we become. Like, you're elevating yourself, I'm elevating myself. I'm happy that we had those good and fun times. And you leave it at that. But if you have somebody that's a hater, that's going to talk about, yeah, you remember when you used to do this and that and X, Y, and Z. And I would never believe that you'd be at this level. I thought you would, like, that's a hater. Somebody that says that is a hater, is an absolute hater. Because if you see somebody evolving, you see somebody trying to better themselves, what are you doing? That's also how I felt about Holly's husband that came from Texas. I felt like he was a hater because she was trying to leave him be destined for greatness, evolve. And here he comes trying to bring her back down to where she came from when he knew she wasn't happy. He knew she was not happy. And that's another thing that I do not like. Why, when you see somebody elevate yourself, you try to bring them back down to a level that No. Yes, there are some people that do need to be humbled. But if you see somebody that is very humbled and you see how far they've come from, why would you try to do that? That's another thing I did not like about that movie with Holly, with her ex-husband. Because, baby boy, what are you doing here? I want to be like, get your shit and leave. Like, I did want to tell him, like, get your shit and leave. You don't see my girl's in the greatest city ever. She's in the greatest state ever. What are you doing? The girl's living the life that she wants to live. And here you come. That's probably why she also lost herself, because she got married real young. Because I believe she got married as a teenager or something like that. And she was taking out the kids. She was looking at the kids that wasn't even her kids. The girl was stressed. Baby girl was stressed. She was like, this is not the life I want. This is not what I want to live. Like, she's like, no, take me away. No wonder she left. That girl got into, I don't even think she took the plane. She probably took like a Greyhound bus. That girl got a Greyhound bus and left. She did not look back. She said no. She said one way or another, I'm going to make it. And it's not going to be me coming back here to Texas. And that's crazy. Baby girl got on that bus and she was out of there like swimwear. She said she didn't want anything to do with this life, this lifestyle, nothing. That's how you knew that girl was destined for greatness, okay? And I know this movie was back, it came out like in the 50s or the 60s. But when I tell you, to this day, Audrey Hepburn, her entire style in Breakfast at Tiffany's ate down. Like, I just love her outfit. I just love her entire aesthetic, how things are. She ate down. And I couldn't believe it took me this long to watch this movie. But literally sitting down watching this movie, I was pinpointing all the things, how it relates to how we want to glow up and level up in life, especially to be like the type of woman that we want to be or the type of person that we want to be. It just shows how things are, like, even back then in the days, how things are so real, how so many women were actually battling with that. Because remember, back in the days, everything was more male dominant. Like, today it's still male dominance, but at least woman is more, it's like 50% male dominance and like 45 to 50% woman getting up there, if you get what I'm trying to say. And just to see how she just packed up and left and had to reinvent her whole self, this goes to show that anybody could do it. Once you put your mind to it and you know you are destined, you can. But that's the problem. A lot of us, we tend to get lazy and we tend to lack the ambition and motivation to elevate ourselves in that process. Because to elevate and to level up, it takes hard work and it takes time. Nothing comes easy overnight. Nothing. You may watch somebody's success and say, damn, they blew up. You don't know how many years they've been trying to grind. Especially when I see so many people, especially women, when they're doing their thing. I've seen them probably on YouTube for like years before they actually blew up and level up into the person that they are today. That's why I always say, like, I would never try to, if I see somebody glowing up, I would never try to bring them back down to a level. There are some people that do need to be humbled. I will say, especially mean girls, they need to be humbled expeditiously. I don't care. Mean girls need to be humbled. You remember the movie Mean Girls? Yeah, mean girls need to be humbled. Because they're always going to think they're better than people, when different conversation for another day. But the entire moral of the story and the whole concept of this episode of the podcast is leveling up and rewriting your story is up to you. When you have reached your breaking point, when you know you are destined for greatness, just you can rewrite your whole story in the blink of an eye and nobody can stop you. Nobody. You can do whatever you want. Remember, it's your life and it's you. All you have to do is continue to keep grinding, keep flowing, and knowing exactly what your end goal and what you're destined for, and you will achieve your goals. Look at Holly, like, baby girl was in Texas, married, girl got on a bus, left, went to New York. Even though she was living a promiscuous lifestyle, she knew what she wanted. She knew the type of man that she wanted. She knew everything about herself. She lost herself in the process, yes, but she knew what she wanted. She knew it. And once baby girl said, yeah, this is it, this is exactly what I want, it only went up for her from there. Only went up. She found love. She found a man that's working his way up to treat her the type of woman that she wants to be treated. It's always, like I said, like, you guys gotta go, you have to go and watch that movie. I bought the DVD, but if you do not want to buy the DVD, go. There has to be somewhere you can watch it for free. Has to be. And you will enjoy it. Because I thoroughly enjoyed the movie and I thoroughly said, you know what? I knew this would be a great topic to talk about on this podcast. I want to leave on a note. So I'm trying to try a new segment called Glow Up Tip of the Day. So the glow up tip for today is rewrite your own story. Do it. If you want to change careers and you've been thinking about it, do it. If you want to move to another state, another country, do it. If you know that you are destined for greatness, Remember, as Meg Thee Stallion said, if you're going to be that girl, continue to be that girl, period. You guys have a fabulous day. This is the episode of Glow Up with Niecey. And if you stay tuned for more episodes, and bye.
Thanks for tuning into Glow Up with Niecey. If today's episode spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a Glow Up bestie. Want more behind the scenes and real life glow up content? Come hang with me on YouTube at Niecey's World. And if you haven't already, grab a copy of my book, Niecey's Glow Up Blueprint. It's your guide to becoming your best self. You can find it linked right here in the show notes. Until next time, keep glowing, keep growing, and never stop becoming her.